Hello everybody, welcome to the Cat Scrappiness YouTube channel. My name is Shannon Smith. You may know me as Cards by Shannon Lee on the interwebs. I'm super excited to tell you I am one of the newest members of the Cat Scrappiness creative crew. Today I'm going to show you how I create my own pattern paper using a few stamp sets and how I turn this busy background into a card. What we're going to start out with today, oh, I forgot to mention, remember to like the video by clicking the thumbs up and also click the subscribe button. Then select the bell next to all and YouTube will let you know every time Cat Scrappiness posts a video. We're starting with the Summer Gnome stamp set, and we're going to use the palm tree, beach ball, surfboard, the little duck floaty, excuse me, the flip-flops, and the bucket with the shovel. We'll also use the gnome, but not in our background. The Summer Gnome add-on, we'll use the crab and the seashells and the sandcastle and the sunglasses. I'm not sure if we'll use the starfish. And then I might use a few of the little bubbles and seashells from the Friends Under the Sea stamp set. Let's see, get that all in there. Okay, so we will start with, now what I do is I use a piece of scrap, this is a scrap piece of copy paper that I have cut out by 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 to represent my card base. And the reason I do that is the stamps, when they're manufactured, have a little bit of a film on them, and I don't like that film to get on the same paper as I'm stamping on, so I use like a template like this. So I'm going to start with the largest stamps from my stamp sets and just lay those down where I think they'll look nice. And I don't take into consideration whether they're right side up or upside down, because I'm only going to fill half of the cardstock. Then I'm going to stamp that and flip the paper around and stamp the opposite side. So we'll just fill up half the cardstock with the stamps, or half my template here with the stamps. And I'm trying to reference my last stamped background. Whoops, sunglasses are sticking to me. Where to put these stamps. I know I liked the positioning that I had. Oops. Little Palmer stamps are so sticky. They stick to your fingers. Oopsie. Come on now. Glasses. I'm going to speed this up while I'm fidgeting around with these stamps. This on the side. Should be okay. Let's give this a try. Oops. Come on now. Didn't pick up my flip-flop, so now I have to stick them to the door. I think we have those there. I don't remember, but that's where they're going now. Okay, I'm going to stamp this on my scratch paper to see if, when I flip it around, there's enough room for them on there, and see if there's any overlapping. Now, let's see when I flip this around if we have overlapping. A little bit. We have the flip-flops and the ducky. Oh, and the sandcastle and the shell. Okay, so let's just make some modifications here. Scooch that down some. Scooch that in some. I can move all of these so that they're almost touching. We'll put the sunglasses here. And get our seashell in this little spot. Where do we want to put seashell? that. That there. Ducky. Let's move the surfboard down a little bit. Oh, I don't want you touching these guys. Okay, so now that I've moved my stamps around, I'm going to do another test run on my scratch paper. I've just flipped the scratch paper over to make sure that these stamps are not overlapping when I flip the paper over. So let's give it a try. Give it some pressure. And now let's flip this over and see if we have any overlapping. Oh, I don't even have to ink. We can see. Wonderful. We have a few open spaces, but I'll take care of those with some extra stamps with an acrylic block after we stamp our panel, but that looks good. So take off my scratch paper. I'm going to clean off this little bit of ink here. Make sure I don't have ink on my fingers. And bring in a piece of cardstock. This is smooth white cardstock. Make sure my paper's in the corner really good so that if I have to do any duplicate stamping, or if the stamps stick to the paper, and you know how it is with photopolymer stamps, they stick, after you stamp them, they stick to the paper and move your paper from its original position. So if you have to go back in and do duplicate stamping, you need to make sure that it starts out in that corner so that you can put it back in the same place when you do your duplicate stamping. That's if you're not familiar with how to use a stamp positioner. Okay, giving it a lot of pressure so we get a good impression. There we go. Now, just flip this over, have a little piece of lint, put my magnets back down. Can't remember if I told you or not, Memento Tuxedo Black ink, I'm going to be doing Copic coloring, so that ink is great for Copic coloring, and I believe it's waterproof for watercoloring, but I'm not 100% on that. I'll have to get back to you. So ink those up. There we go. Lots of pressure. There, that looks nice. And I think what we will do is, oh, it looks like we have an extra stamp here that I didn't use. Sorry if my head's getting in the way. That'll fit there. Clean up these other stamps. Put them back on their sheet. I'm going to use the sunglasses again. So this goes over there. This will go over there. Is that right? Yeah. Use the sunglasses again. What is that on my paper? This edge, I think we can leave that, that'll be fine. Just those two places. I'm going to put the stamps back on the sheet and I'll be right back. Now I'm going to do some basic Copic coloring, and I'm going to speed it up and let you listen to music. I will try to put the caps so you can see the colors that I'm using while I'm using them, and I'll try my best to stay in screen, but here we go. I'm going to use the BG000 and I'm going to cover the entire back, but I'm going to do that off camera. I'm going to finish coloring these up, and when I come back, we'll put the card together. Okay, I have finished coloring our stamped background pattern paper, and now we are going to take a piece of vellum and I'm going to stamp our sentiment. The reason I'm using vellum is because I want to be able to see the background through the vellum but still see the sentiment. And with the vellum, it softens the appearance of the background. I will show you. Piece of vellum I have here is 6.5, 6.25 by 2 inches. I'm going to use some anti-static powder tool, making sure I'm still on screen. Anti-static powder tool. Oh, I forgot to put my sentiment down. Let's do that first. That will help. So I'm using, this is from the Summer Gnome add-on, and it says, "Life's a beach, enjoy the waves." Now, I've already used this sentiment before, and I like to stack it. So what I did was, I cut it in half. I just used a scissor and cut it in between the beach and enjoy. So we're going to put this down and get this lined up, leaving enough room on, I want it to be more to the right, but I need to leave enough room for the vellum to fold around the card because I don't want to use adhesive on the front of the card because it will show through the vellum. Now I don't want to stick my head in the way, so I'm just going to pull this down and see if this is lined up. It looks pretty good. So I'm going to bring the lid down. Let's see. Okay, it looks really lined up. Okay, more anti-static powder tool. And then we're using Versamark clear embossing ink. Stamp the sentiment. And this is my second take. I ruined another piece of vellum because I double stamped it and it wasn't all the way in the corner, so I'm making sure it's in the very corner right now. So when I stamp it a second time, if it moves out of the way after the first time, I can put it back in the corner and it should line up. Okay, let's make sure it's still in the corner. Oh, get in there, don't wrinkle. There we go. One more time with the ink. Just inking up my sentiment. Stamp it again. And we are going to use some superfine opaque white embossing ink. Or not embossing ink, embossing powder. Excuse me. Get my little scrap of paper here so that we don't get embossing powder all over the place. Come on, open up. There you go. And we'll sprinkle that onto our sentiment. Tapping off the excess, sprinkle it on again. And then, let's see, there's a little piece of black something or other. That might be a piece of black ink, fuzz, something. Okay. Now with my heat tool, I'm going to turn this on and we're going to melt the sentiment. Let it heat up for a second. And I like to heat it from the underside. Watch that melt. There's the outside. There we go. Looks good. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to clean this up and we'll finish up the card. Now we're going to take our piece of vellum and I am going to line this up approximately where I want this and then just fold that over the edge and make sure it's still straight. Yeah, that looks good. And then give it a crease. And I'll come over here with my glue and put some glue on the underside. Maybe a little more. Oh, I guess it doesn't need it. It's sticking good. Okay, and then make sure we're still straight. Fold over the other half. Whoops, didn't get it close enough to the edge. There we go. That's better. Bring the glue back in. I like to use liquid glue. Tape runner just seems to never have a real permanent hold. I use it occasionally, but I prefer liquid glue. Okay. Then I have this little girl gnome that is from the Summer Gnome stamp set. A little girl with a drink. We're going to attach her. Let me grab some tweezers. Attach her to the vellum and to the card. Just a little bit of glue behind her and seal her down. And then I have these mini ornate jewels, and these jewels have unbelievable sparkle. I love them so much. They're my most favorite embellishment as of late. Okay, let's see. Get my little picker-upper tool. We'll put a few of these on the card, and we are in the home stretch. I know they don't really have anything to do with a beach scene, but I just really love the sparkle of these jewels. I'll show you up close in just a second, as soon as I'm done gluing these on. And there we have a completed card front. See the sparkle on them? They are so, let me bring them up a little closer. Super shiny. I don't think the camera's doing it justice, but there is our card. Life's a beach, enjoy the waves. Thanks for watching my presentation today. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, all the good stuff. Thanks for stopping by. Bye for now.